Yayoi Kasuma, a ballerina, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, a Belgian football hooligan, Go Row the Devils, and Batman. What do all of these things have in common? Let me tell you, because I know it's kind of tricky. I have embodied all of these people during the school day in the last couple of years. Oh my gosh, this mess, man. All right, you might be able to tell that I enjoy a good dress-up day. But this is more than just a laugh for me. This is actually, in my opinion, why I am able to be a good, aspiring to be great leader. This might shock some of you that have gotten to know me here at PTC, but I am painfully shy, absolutely terrified in front of people. I'm an introvert. I always have been. I literally have like 3 friends. I do not socialize in public and even some private spaces. I do not small talk. I do not mingle. When I do, I find that I am awkward and I find that I'm off-putting. And in fact, I think a lot of people from my past have agreed with me about this, because here are some of the words that people have used to describe me to me in previous years. Nerdy, better with logistics than people, grown up, serious. How do I put this delicately? Resting Grinch face, unfriendly, snobby, elitist, or even rude. As many of you can relate to, I internalized these things that people said about me, and they became my inner voice, reassuring me that I didn't need to work on being approachable or being sociable. It's my identity and I can't change that, right? But about 10 years ago, I moved to Europe and I got a job as a primary school teacher. Even though I'm a trained secondary teacher and I swore up and down that because of my lack of compassion, my lack of empathy, my lack of relatability, I'd never be able to teach small children. And soon after that, to my very great shock, I was actually offered a primary leadership position, and that terrified me even more because of all those things that I'm not, that a leader needs to be. My inner voice and all of those words, they came with me like baggage, and that constant fear of humiliation and rejection followed me through at least my first year of my leadership role. But a couple of students at some point came to me and they asked about dress-up days. It's not something we'd ever done before. We were a relatively new school. I think primary was only about 2 years old at that point. And I said, all right, that seems like a fun thing for the kids. Definitely not my situation, but they'll enjoy it. So our first one was for Carnival. And if you've ever lived in Belgium, you know that Carnival is a holiday. Like, we get jazzed about that stuff. The hype is real. I don't know exactly why, but against the will of my inner saboteur, I decided to participate. So I dressed in purple. Purple shirt, purple pants, purple socks, purple shoes, purple hat, purple wig, and purple skin. I painted myself head to toe in purple paint. But something absolutely magical happened that I didn't expect. Everybody who saw me met me with joy. Not ridicule, not humiliation, but joy. So my involuntary response was to start talking to people who had reacted to me. I made small talk. I told jokes. I acted a damn fool. Where's Danny? What is going on here? This may or may not have prompted me as a leader to inspire a few more dress-up days. And I admit that this was a selfish motivation, but I really wanted to chase that feeling. That's not something I'd ever felt before. So we expanded. A couple of spirit weeks, an ugly Christmas sweater fashion show that I was able to MC, book week with our favorite characters in costume, and of course, this addiction has carried itself over into my current context. And though this might come as a shock, it's even gone so far as adopting an alter ego. Our mascot at ISL Qatar is the desert fox. And so we didn't have like a dress-up mascot. So I went to Amazon and I found myself some fox ears and some fox paws and a fox tail. And I am now, according to the children, Miss Foxy. And I make appearances at every primary assembly, and I actually get up and I lead the spirit cheers, which is also terrifying. So here's the wondering. What's the impact, though? Am I just somebody who has to put on a getup in order to be charismatic or in order to be an approachable human being? Like, can I do it without this? I think actually pop culture might be able to help me answer this question. How many of you have heard of or seen RuPaul's Drag Race? Hey, hey, hey. Yes, I love this show. And RuPaul Charles, the host, talks with his contestants always about their inner saboteur. And inner saboteur is a powerful and destructive voice that's inside of you that will try to stop you at every turn from becoming your authentic self or reaching your full potential. And the sad thing is it has no reason whatsoever to do this to you. It's usually fed, though, by other people's perceptions of you and other people's judgments of you and your fear of those judgments. This should really sound very familiar. It'll be a different voice for every single one of us, but we've all got that inner saboteur, and I've got one too. But all of the queens on Drag Race share a poignant narrative. Their drag persona tends to be their way around that inner voice. It's their way of being their authentic selves and confronting that fear. So this is my drag. I am able to be vulnerable. I'm able to be risk-taking and confident and open and engaged and relatable and ridiculous. But it is the case that I do need a vehicle, at least for now, to support me in getting around that inner voice. But the coolest part, the most important part, is that like most of the queens, I can start to tap into these qualities even outside of my costume now. It's taken some time, but I'm getting there. I'm still pretty terrified, mind you. I promise there's a big reveal here. I think I've tied it in a knot, haven't I? Isn't it right? Yeah. Oh, I got it. Woohoo! See, I can do it. It's cool. I'm still pretty terrified. But little by little, I am able to dampen that voice. I promise there's pants underneath, but I ain't gonna fiddle with it. So my pearl to you is identify. Don't be afraid to confront that inner voice and find something, anything that you can, to get rid of it, to dampen it, to get outside of that and find your authentic self, because it's right there. And maybe it's just a Batman costume away. Maybe.